You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Get on-demand one-on-one text advice with Smitty at thefantasyfootballshow.com.
You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón.
Get on-demand one-on-one text advice with Smitty at thefantasyfootballshow.com.
You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasy.
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. We got Mike Evans news. Obviously, we broke that earlier. Mike Evans is going to be out for week 3, suspended for a single game for that fight and what ensued on the field in week 2. That's a tough break for people that have Mike Evans. And we wonder, will Julio be healthy enough to kind of carry the load for 1 week? Because he would be a good play if out there and capable. We got the game kicking off here in the corner of my eye. The Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans. Can't wait to watch this game. Derrick Henry, does he still have it left? Does he still have it an elite running back 1 talent left in the cards here for against this tough Buffalo Bill defense? We'll see what happens if Derrick Henry can drop it. If not, people will be petrified and fearful and knee-jerk reacting to Derrick Henry. And there's always a buy low opportunity. I'm always going to be willing to buy low on any player if the price is right. I'd even buy low on a Derrick Henry if the price is right. I'm buying on Kamara because the price is perfect. Absolutely perfect on Alvin Kamara right now because people didn't account for his off-the-field situation in the draft capital that they invested. And then now you've got the rib injury, potentially, other injuries as well. and you've got a guy that you can now buy well inside third round equivalent value. There's always great buy low opportunities. We'll go over that on the Panic Chamber episode tomorrow, late evening into Wednesday, and then Thursday the buy low, sell high, and so on. The waiver wire video will drop early tomorrow morning. We'll do the live premiere like usual, right around, I'd say about 11 a.m. or so Eastern is when the waiver wire show drops on Tuesday mornings. So look for that. And we've got, so this suspension news here. There's some other pieces of news to go over real quickly. Michael Pittman, let's hit the news desk.
From the fantasyfootballshow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So Michael Pittman, quad, made good progress in his recovery and could play week 3. That's interesting news. Decent buy low candidate people are disappointed in. Ty Davis Price, this is kind of new news here, fresh this past hour. Diagnosed with a high ankle sprain and could be sidelined a few weeks. That means Jordan Mason and Jeff Wilson will be the two running backs running this and commanding this running back room in San Francisco. And Jeff Wilson's very injury prone, so we are very, very close to that Jordan Mason potential value bump. So if he's available, you need to grab him. Then we got another piece of news here from Dalton Schultz. It looks like he won't know the extent of his week 3 status. I'm assuming he's out because I believe he has a PCL injury, and they don't want to mess with that. Run him out there if they can rest him a week and get him closer odds of not like re-injuring it or getting it worse. So don't expect Dalton Schultz to play week 3, but I suppose there's a shot. And then of course if you're running some guys out there tonight for the last of the 2 games for Monday Night Football, the 2 double headers. I love having the 2 games on Monday night. I wish we had a game every single night. But Gabe Davis ruled out. That means McKenzie is a fantastic plug and play, and even Shakir, I think, could maybe grab a touchdown in this game. I think Dawson Knox has a huge rebound. Buying low on Dawson Knox, that probably ends tonight. I think he's a guy people have panicked on over one game when his offense was absolute fire. It's one thing to worry about a player when the offense is struggling, like Mooney, for example. And I'm still not cutting Mooney. I'd bench him if you wanted to, sure. But you don't cut Mooney. Mooney, his quarterback had 70 yards passing. What can Mooney possibly do? Now, that is a problem that needs to be remedied in order for Mooney to do well, of course. Logic. But you can't, it's different to be like, oh, Mooney's going to bounce back when you don't really know when, right? Because the offense has to deliver. Whereas in the case of Knox's offense is on fire. He was asked to do a lot of blocking in week 1. Now Gabe Davis is out. You're going to see a lot of Knox, I think, tonight. Knox will score a touchdown. I really believe that's probably in the cards. If you want to go before it kicks off and drop a prop on that, go to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. Look, your fantasy doesn't have to end, with the team that you drafted. It could end with, each week you could redraft. You can do these props. You can do daily fantasy contests where you're playing just the afternoon games or just the Sunday games in a fantasy contest and redraft every single week and make fantasy draft day every single day over on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll match up to $100 of your first deposit. Link is in the description of the video, and also use promo code Smitty. Let's get to some of these super chats. We won't be too long tonight because there are games to watch. Ron Navy dropping a super chat. Sean dropping a super chat. Appreciate you guys dropping those. We got another super chat here from Overcome. We have another one from Ron Navy. King Henry says Ron Navy's expecting a big game. What did you say? 150-2 is what you're hoping for? Trade Hunt for Garrett Wilson. Other ideas? Can we get a vote for Mark Cleveland? Mark Cleveland is a long-time super chatter and supporter of this channel and show, and I'd love to give Mark Cleveland a proper piece of advice on this one. Trade Kareem Hunt for Garrett Wilson. I think if you need a wide receiver more than you need the running back, this is a fine swap. I think Garrett Wilson looks legit. He didn't just, stumble into a touchdown. He stumbled into 2, and he looked good doing it. So when I say stumble, I mean look at legit. And I don't mind you trading Hunt for him. I do think Hunt's still got a lot of good value, but I have no problem with swapping on either side. If you need a running back, Hunt's great. If you need a wide receiver, I'm all for Garrett Wilson. It is a little bit of a quick turnaround in value, Garrett Wilson going from rags to riches, but that's okay. That's the way fantasy football is. So it is what it is, and there's no shame in drafting or trading for a guy that was not drafted high. 1 week is a lot of pressure to put on this kid, like a 1 week of production, and say, hey, he is now worth Kareem Hunt. But if you need Wilson, you need a wide receiver. It's not a bad move at all. Trade Javonte and Burks to the deep for Debo and ETN. I'm going to say no on that until ETN proves himself. Then you're basically trading at this juncture. You're trading Javonte down for Debo, and I'd rather have Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams had 11 receptions in week 1. If you don't play in PPR, I could see how that could be disappointing. But everybody plays PPR nowadays. Your grandma plays non-PPR. You got to at least play a half PPR. And he had a good week 1. He had an amazing week 1. Javonte had 15 carries to Melvin Gordon's 10. There's a lot of upside here. I agree. Hackett is a mess. Hackett is a disaster. He's standing in the way. But at least Javonte is in good positioning, and I think things get better. Punch the thumb up on your way in the door. Is Gabe Davis playing? Nope. We got Dave Davis ruled out right on the screen, broski. Sitting right here. Gabe Davis is out. They offer me CD. Somebody's down already. Who is that? Somebody's down. They offer me CD and ETN for London and Pollard. I would take CD and ETN for London and Pollard. I like London, but that's good. That's definitely a good swap. What do I do with ETN? How do I sell? You can't really sell him right now, bro. You could sell Kirk on the high, or you could ride Kirk as your wide receiver 3 all year. Kirk's going to do well. Kirk's going to continue to, I think, be productive. Would I sell him high if you need to go in a different direction? Absolutely, I do. I try and use Kirk to try and get my running back upgraded into a Kamara, upgraded into a potential, CMC or whatever. Yeah, I definitely explore those options. If you need a quarterback, he's a great person to use in that respect. As far as ETN, you can't really sell ETN. You can't really sell ETN. You could go after a Gabe Davis. I'd trade ETN for Gabe Davis in a heartbeat, and he just disappointed his owners right now. Punch that button right now. Jordan Mason, we talked about that at the top of the show. Jordan Mason looking in prime position. Now Jeff Wilson is still going to get his shot, but Jordan Mason, this is why he was on the pickup list, because it's such an injury-prone running back room, and Jeff Wilson's probably the most injury-prone of them all after Mitchell. Mitchell and Jeff Wilson are guys that can't stay healthy, so we'll see. Jeff Wilson and Mason are currently the 1-2 punch in that backfield, so we'll see what happens. Another chat from Overcome. Give MT for Pitts. I would rather have Kyle Pitts right now. I know everyone's running for the hills when it comes to Kyle Pitts, but MT's got his own problems. I think that quarterback situation is very shaky at best. Winston's playing with some major injuries, and I just don't know if I trust it. If you need a tight end, it's a good trade. If you're good at tight end, if you got Dawson Knox or something, then don't be trading MT for a tight end when you already have a very viable tight end like Dawson Knox, who's about to drop fire in this game, I believe. ESPN, I think the game's going to be on ESPN for most everybody. Sean, appreciate your super chat, Sean. It looks like this might have been your question right here. You said, hey, would you trade JT for Jalen Hurts and Amon-Ra St. Brown? No, I would not trade JT for Amon-Ra and Jalen Hurts. I guess I don't know if it's a super flex. First time super chatting, no problem. My running backs are Dalvin Barkley. I don't know that this is a super flex league based on looking at this, so I'm going to say no, you can't do that unless it's a super flex league. And then I guess we have to have a deeper conversation and look at it. Don't forget about Crowder. He will get time also. Yeah, Crowder could be used. I like Shakir a lot in this one. I love Dawson Knox, most outside of Diggs. I think Dawson Knox could have one of those 1-2 TD days. And the snap. Allen steps back, tosses it almost into the ground, but Diggs says, I'll get it. It's okay. Overthrow the football. I've got it. I've got you. 168 of you in here. Punch that thumb up button Is Bateman going to be a must start going forward? Yeah, as a wide receiver 3 or even 2, he's a must start. Adjust and adapt. He looks good. This is what we needed to see out of him. We saw it. Okay, even I like the kid now a lot more than I did, and that it takes 1 week to see something like that when you see the rapport between the two. Bateman's fast. He's fast, and he's definitely a good option, and his style of play fits really well with Lamar Jackson. So he's definitely a must. I'm a guaranteed must start. Look at this. Singletary ripping one off. I mean, you've got to find a way to put him in your flex at the very least. Let's see here. Helm says trade Aaron Jones for Diggs. Trade Aaron Jones for Diggs and keep Dillon. Yeah. If that offer is on the table, wait and punch it as the game goes on, and you see what you need to see out of Diggs. I think Aaron Jones is a great sell high, but also a very good hold because they're using him the way we wanted them to use him in Green Bay in this week 2 effort. So if they continue to use Aaron Jones the way that we expected them to do so in week 2, they did. In week 1, they didn't. Aaron Jones is going to be a top 10 running back, guaranteed. But, he's always an injury risk. Diggs is also an injury risk. So honestly, it depends on what you need positionally. I would guess they get drafted very close, neck and neck. Could you split Tyreek Hill into 2 players? You most certainly could. And Tyreek was one of the best buy lows of the week. We had that on the show. He exploded, and now buy low season's gone. But you could definitely divide them into 2 players. You just need to make sure your team is built in needing that. Because when I say to someone says, should I trade Justin Jefferson? My answer isn't immediately no. My answer is, can you win? Are you in position to win right now? Because if so, why would you trade JJ? Hey, Smitty, should I trade JT? My answer is not just an automatic no. It is, what does your team look like? What are the odds? Are you suffering a whole bunch of injuries? When someone says you don't trade Justin Jefferson, you don't trade JT, that is blanket advice that is honestly bad advice if someone doesn't know what's going on. Just skipping my super chat, about to do underdog. Sorry, Jake. I'm trying to get to all of them here. Let me see. I'm using, but screwed me on the lines for this game. Yeah, use underdog, bro. Use underdog. Link is in the description. Let me see if you said you super chatted. Jake, underdog. Oh, that was your super chat. Underdog. Can I get over unders on McKenzie? You probably, obviously the game is already started, but definitely use the link in the description and play the over unders on underdog. They're very fun. They're very good. I love doing the 5 times multipliers where you put down like $10 and you choose 5 things to happen, and it 5 times multiplies at $10. So win you 200 if you land all 5 of those picks. Man, Josh Allen's got to be careful. Guy scrambles so aggressively. Josh Allen is going to hurt himself if he's not a better, safer runner. And we just saw Trey go down being used up the gut. Josh Allen just throws his body around like a rag doll. What do you do with ETN? How do you sell him? Already answered that question. Thank you for that super chat. Overcome with a super. Hunter, thank you for the super chat, Hunter. I don't see a question attached, but I'll look for whatever you said here. I just took Pitts for MT. If you needed a tight end, that wasn't a bad move. Don't let people convince you after 2 weeks that Kyle Pitts goes from being a 3rd round pick to a lot of people to being a guy they bench or not start or value like 4 rounds later now because of 2 weeks of action. Things have changed quicker than that, or taken longer to change in fantasy football before Josh Allen's getting rocked. Saquon or Najee? Probably Saquon, bro. Najee I don't trust. He's supposedly not on injury reports, and he's definitely banged up. Fab on Jimmy? I don't know. What does your situation look like? How much Fab? I don't know. Only you know that. Only you know what it takes to drop Fab on a certain player. You had 250 points, Scott. Attaboy. Jake Elliott or Joseph Elliott? Shanahan is going to run Debo up the middle 10 plus times a game. Yeah, and get him hurt. Shanahan's going to hurt Debo Samuel. I have a bad feeling about it. Amon-Ra for Debo and Juju. I'd honestly rather have Amon-Ra right now, I think, than Debo. It's tough to say. I like Debo a lot, but Amon-Ra is on a whole nother level right now. He's just special. He's just special, man. Amon-Ra is a special guy. Let's go. Let's get Dawson Knox to the football, shall we? Dropped Josh Gordon last week. Let's see him drop 30. That's usually how it works. All right, let's go. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's get Dawson Knox the football. Allen's doing good. Allen's spreading the ball around. Diggs looking good. Where's Pollard? Pollard steps in as a running back 1. Is this where Pollard steps in as a running back 1? I don't know that he steps in as a running back 1 unseating Zeke Elliott, but this feels about the point where Zeke Elliott gets broken. You know, he's struggling. Usually when players at his, his point in his career with the mileage, then they're struggling. They give this 100% effort and just run themselves into the ground because they're trying to keep up. They're losing a step, so they got to work a lot harder. They get abused. And I think Zeke Elliott getting injured is very likely. So keep your Pollard shares handy and get ready for a big 3rd and 2. Get ready for a big second half of the season for Pollard, I think. If not, immediately. What do you do about Taysom Hill? Look, 1 week has gone by. He's still an attractive, at least bench tight end. And if you're struggling at tight end and he becomes available because people jump ship that quickly, you might want to grab Taysom Hill if you need a tight end and you're in a bad spot. Right on for here. Hit the like button. Thank you, bud. Appreciate you, bud. Dawson Knox. There we go. Running tough, Dawson. Running tough. Smitty, do I sit ETN for Pollard? Probably right now, but we want to probably address that later in the week, bro. What are you looking for in return for Zeke? I don't know. I don't know what you can get. Like, you might trade across position and go after a wide receiver struggling or something like McLaurin, or maybe you go after a Kyle Pitts in a deal like Zeke and something for Kyle Pitts. I'd do that. That's my main target this week. Is going to be Kyle Pitts. It's going to be Kamara. It's going to be Eckler. It's going to be Swift. Even though Swift didn't do bad, but his owners are a little worried. I even buy CMC. There's going to be our buy low, sell high is going to be loaded with big name players this week coming out of week 2. That's usually how it works in weeks 1, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 and 5, where there's bigger name players than normal sitting there on the buy low, sell high list, bigger than normal amount of big name players in the panic chamber. We got a lot of players in the panic chamber. Weather cooling down in AZ, live in Mesa. Yeah, bud, Halloween night is when it usually just turns to cold, cool weather at nighttime here in Arizona. It's kind of a weird thing. It's usually on Halloween night. It's crazy. Tyreek into 2 good players again. Dan, I do not mind that idea. Trade Chubb and Waller for Eckler and Dillon. Chubb and Waller for Eckler and Dillon. I personally would try and get more because I feel like Eckler's down, Chubb is up. No pun intended. And I think you're in a position to where you could probably get a little bit more. Look at that touchdown. Catch and run. Gilliam, 11-yard TD reception. That dude looked like he was on a mission. Fullback catches this pass like in the flat and literally just shakes off one defender, uses some quickness and speed to get to the corner of the pylon, tosses the football into the crowd, starts flexing. Gilliam, touchdown reception. 6-0 extra point is up and good. 7-0 Buffalo. Titans about to get the football. 9:07 left in the game. We'll see what Derrick Henry's got in store for everybody on Monday Night Football. Let's go. All right, let's open these phone lines real quick. That was the point of the show. Trade Chubb and Waller for Eckler and Dillon. I'd rather have Eckler and Dillon, but I'm trying to get more because you can. Because you can. That TD helps. No one says Ron Navy unless, yeah, true. I mean, helps Josh Allen. Trade Chubb and Waller. Got that one. I think I'm caught up on the super chats. I have Brady and Wentz. Want Brady for Tua. I could go either direction. Look, Tua's got weapons. It's not crazy to think that Tua could hang with Brady. Brady's got all of his weapons missing. But, I'm indifferent on that one, to be honest with you. What percentage of fab if you have Herbert, Dak, and Lance? What percentage of fab if you have Herbert, Dak, and Lance on who? Spacey. You gotta remember, I don't know a previous question. Just took Pitts for MT. Nice job. Hernandez. Working on a trade after this week. My Hurts, CMC, McLaurin for Burrow, Javonte, Garrett Wilson. So Hurts, CMC, McLaurin for Burrow, Javonte, Garrett Wilson. I don't know that trade is like a home run, bro. I think you got to get something a little bit more. Like you're buying Javonte and Burrow low, but you're buying them essentially at the same price they were before the season began, and you got to take advantage of the buy low opportunities. I think that deal is not a good enough balance of based on what you could get on the open market. I think you got to buy Burrow and Javonte a lot cheaper than that. Drop Mooney for Garrett Wilson or Dotson. I pick up Garrett Wilson 100%, but I do not drop Mooney over Cum. You're going to hear me say that all week long. Everyone's freaking out about Mooney. I understand he's not doing anything, but this is a good wide receiver that I'm not willing to drop. There's got to be other players you can drop on your team, I'd imagine, than dropping Mooney. Mooney's a good, he's such a good player that's in a really bad spot.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show. I'm opening the phone lines as we speak. They're opening up. And let's take some phone calls. Hey, Smitty got offered Lamb and Chark for Judy and Fournette. I don't know. That's a pretty similar, risk level. I mean, Lamb is. I don't know if Lamb's going to get his touchdowns, but I probably would be interested in getting the Lamb side, I suppose. But Fournette's banged up right now. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, what's up, Smitty? It's Maxim.
It's who?
Maxim.
What's up?
Hey, man. I just wanted to know what your opinion. So basically, I traded Brandon Cooks, Henderson, and CD Lamb for DeAndre Swift.
Henderson.
Do you think that was a good trade?
Henderson, Cooks, and Lamb.
Yeah.
Henderson, Cooks, and Lamb for Swift. I'm okay with that. I like Swift enough for that. I
don't know how CD Lamb is gonna do, and then Henderson looks like Cam Akers starting getting some reps now again.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Henderson.
Yeah, I sell high.
Yeah, and also
I sell high on Hendy, so I'm fine with that. Like, make sure you get Jamal Williams if possible.
Yeah. Hey, man. I was also wondering, do you think I can do anything with Tyreek Hill right now since he has such a good game right now?
With who?
And maybe I can trade it for Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill? I mean, injury down. Oof. Lewan's down.
Who's down?
Taylor Lewan. That's not good.
Oh.
Yeah, Tyreek, again, this goes to the same thinking that I've been talking about in concept. You trade Justin Jefferson? No. That's what everybody says. No, you don't trade Justin Jefferson. You don't trade JT. You don't trade guys that are doing good. If you have to, you have to. And now Tyreek Hill is one of those players that he's in such a good spot. He may have climbed to top 12, top 13 overall value just in one game. Mm-hmm. He was one of the best buy lows of the week on our buy low video that we had. And so now it's like he's top 10, maybe top 10 to 12. Like in 1 week, this guy went from being the best buy low wide receiver that was below all the elite tier guys. Like, he was third round value walking into week 2. Third round value. Biggest screaming steal I could find when I was digging through all the wide receivers. I'm like, who is the wide receiver that could go from, like, not being in the top 24 overall, top 25 overall, but being totally everybody wishing they had him after week 2.
Yeah, I know the leadership of your game is crazy. It's a value. That's why I'm wondering if maybe I was wondering if I can trade him for Javonte or like with the package, somebody else.
So Javante's fallen below him, so you're going to need to get Javonte and more. I'm not saying I don't want Javonte over him, like push comes to shove or something, but Hill has climbed above him. Fair market value, doesn't matter what we expect to happen. You got to look at fair market value. Javonte is now well below. Like, he was already in the second round. He was great in week 1. Then he was, underwhelming in week 2. So he can't possibly be higher than his ADP was back in August and September, early September. So now he's looking at being either not 15 to 18, maybe Javonte's 18 to 28. He was, in some cases, some people had him as a top of the third round type player. So if you're talking Tyreek Hill, who climbed into the top 12, like, you need to get Javonte and Higgins.
And like the wide receiver too. Maybe.
You need Javonte and Higgins for Tyreek Hill.
Higgins, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if somebody says no, then say enjoy the show, baby. Like Tyreek Hill, he's going bye-bye for 2 or 3 touchdowns on the regular. So you got to make sure you get fair market value. All right, bro, I got to jump to the next call. Okay. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yep. Need wide receiver. I have DJ Moore. How much fab on Wilson? I don't know. Look, Cam, the answer is never going to be this exact amount. Put 20% on. You can't do that, because I don't know. I don't know your history. Like, and I have a league, an expert league, where you drop $100 out of 100 whenever you want a guy, because everyone's going to do it for if everybody does it for 12 weeks straight, there's always going to be somebody that lands the top waiver wire guy. Everybody's doing it. Everybody drops 100 out of 100, and then it matters what order you have. It's not even like who drops the most amount of money. It's who drops the most amount of money and has the higher claim order. So I don't know the answer. I would say, in general, 20%, 25% minimum. If he's a need for you, if you think this is a difference between you winning the league and not, then maybe it's worth more than 25%. But no one can know. It's a great question, Cam. I'm not trying to act like your question is bad. I'm trying to help everybody watching. You need to know. You know your own league, and I would say if it's important enough for winning your league, Curtis Samuel, very good option as well. 25 to 40% is not crazy if it's a league-winning move. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
What's up, Schmitty? It's Justin.
What's up, Justin?
Yeah, so I had a question. I have start off my quarterback server. I got Swift, Jefferson. Can I get any value if I trade Gabe Davis and, say, Henderson and Marquise Brown? Who do you think I could, get somebody for?
Gabe Davis.
I also have,
you're trying to trade Gabe Davis and Henderson?
And possibly Marquise Brown.
I mean, Gabe Davis is hurt. Henderson looks like he's in a running back by committee, so it's going to scare some people. Hollywood Brown feels very spotty. So I don't know that you're going to be able to get
Brown with St. Brown on Detroit. I have him. I have Paul Williams as a backup back, and really the only hole I have in my fantasy lineup would be Henderson.
So you're looking for an RB?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I'd go after the usual suspects. Like, I don't think that's going to get you into an Eckler or a CMC or a Kamara, but I feel like Kamara is the cheapest of those guys. So, like, what can you add to get? Like, you certainly offer all of that for Kamara and see what happens. I've seen worse trades get accepted, worse trade offers get accepted. So the worst case, they say no. But I've seen people be like, I'm giving up. I'm 0-2. I'm giving up Kamara. I'm not going to keep him any longer. So Not crazy to make those offers. Just don't expect, for sure yes on that. Past that, I mean, you could go after Breece Hall using Hollywood and something small. You could go after, picking up Garrett Wilson and then using Garrett Wilson as trade bait. People did that with Jeff Wilson last week. People picked up Jeff Wilson last week and then coupled Jeff Wilson with a decent wide receiver 3 and got themselves into an amazing. Like, I had one guy take Jeff Wilson and couple him with, I believe it was McLaurin or something for Tyreek Hill last week. So he got into Tyreek Hill using a waiver wire guy and a player he couldn't give up straight up for Tyreek Hill because he made the waiver move and coupled it together. Like maybe that's what you do with Wilson. Garrett Wilson.
I also have ETN on my bench and Jalen Hurts. I don't know, like if Hurts alone could add, obviously.
Let Hurts do something here tonight, and then you have a lot more firepower, and trade potential interest in Hurts. But I like Higgins as a wide receiver. I like. I'm trying to think of options for you at running back. Let me look at some rankings real quick and come up with a name for you. But you said Hollywood Brown, Gabe Davis, and Darrell Henderson is what you're trying to give up, right? For one running back potentially.
I'll throw in ETN if it gets me the star power.
At some point, people don't take 4 players because they can't roster them and they got to make cuts and all that. But I'd say, like, Mixon seems like attainable for that right now. Mixon's a great option for you. Aaron Jones was. Missed the boat on that one, pal. Not your fault, but I'm just saying that was in Tyreek Hill and Aaron Jones were within everyone's grasp. And those were great. Those are great buy low opportunities that are gone. Just gone. Joe Mixon's one that feels like he's still there. A.J. Dillon. Go get A.J. Dillon. People are selling him off like their ETN. You could probably trade ETN. Actually, I don't even mind keeping ETN. You could try and keep Gabe Davis too. Trade Henderson and who was Hollywood Brown? Henderson and Hollywood Brown for A.J. Dillon. Go do that.
Yeah, I'll try that out for sure.
I like Pierce a lot too in a 1-for-1 using like Hollywood Brown for Pierce, Damian Pierce. I bet you could get that done. That would be a good emergency move. They're on the 3-yard line here. Potential offsides maybe or timeout. All right, bro. I got to jump to the next call. Appreciate you.
Awesome.
Later. Overcome says Buddy dropped Mitchell, bigger priority than Wilson. No, not right now. I'd rather have Wilson. Thank you for the super chat. Overcome. You're not crazy to grab Mitchell, but I bet you Mitchell may fall to your second claim. Or you use a small dollar amount. Just trade Tyler Boyd for Pat Freiermuth. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Smitty, what's up? It's Aiden again.
What's up, Aiden?
Hey, so I got a question. I super chatted you about this earlier, and I'm honestly just looking to get a more detailed answer. My wide receivers in this 10-team half PPR league are Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I'm looking to trade away Christian Kirk off my bench.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know who I should send offers for.
Christian Kirk straight up, like one player?
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the best decision for me right now. I'm not really looking to get rid of anybody else.
A.J. Dillon? I just mentioned him.
A.J. Dillon?
Yeah, why not? What was he before week 2? A top 10 running back to everybody? Like, you had people saying A.J. Dillon's a better, we all talked about it. You kicked it around, right? Even I made mentions of it. Like, is A.J. Dillon a better running back than Aaron Jones? The way they used Aaron Jones in week 1, look what happened 1 week later. 1 week later, Aaron Jones is, in some people's mind, a top 5 running back going forward. And A.J. Dillon coming out of week 1 was like a borderline top 10. I think he's a great buy low for that. I think you could maybe even get that. If you can't, I would buy low on Breece Hall. I'd buy low I would try and get Mixon if you've got to give up a little bit more, because he's like fallen down past a lot of people's like top 10, top 12 running backs right now. It's weird. Mixon's getting completely forgotten because the offense has been struggling bad. But, you know, there's still some risk involved in getting Mixon, but I think Mixon's a fantastic buy low. Those would be the areas I go, because I think A.J. Dillon's very attainable right now.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. My tight end is Schultz. I do have Gerald Everett. Should I be concerned with maybe trying to get like a Pitts or something like that?
I mean, concerned? No. Concerned, no, because Everett looks good. You know, so I don't think you should be concerned. Do I want Kyle Pitts? Yes. Do I trade Everett and somebody for Kyle Pitts in a heartbeat? Depends on who that person is, but like I would definitely like, would I trade Kirk for Kyle Pitts in a millisecond? You know, Kyle Pitts he was a 3rd round player to so many people. Henry touchdown. So much has happened in 2 weeks. People are dropping Kyle Pitts outside of like their top 5, top 7 tight ends. It's crazy. I love Kyle Pitts. There's one of your touchdowns, Ron Navy.
Can you kind of elaborate on the situation with Kyle Pitts? Because, I mean, we're seeing him, like, I think, what was it, Arthur Smith yesterday. He said, like, oh, I don't care about fantasy football. We're just trying to win games. And he's coming off 2 straight games with 2 catches and 19 yards each.
Yeah.
There's no concern for you on that?
Of course there's concern, but are you drafting him at old levels of 3rd round value? No. You know, that's my whole point, is like you're coming in without any concern at all. You're coming in and grabbing him at value that has nothing to do with any of the value or valuation or the levels of concern a person that drafted him has. If you drafted him at 3.10, you are concerned. You should be concerned. I don't know that I sell low, but you're definitely concerned. But you're walking in the door, bro. Someone drove the car off the lot. It lost 10 grand in value, and you're walking and it's got 10 miles on it. And you're like, I'll take it for 10,000 less than you just paid for it. There's no concern there.
Right.
But I do worry about how long it takes him to get, like, how's this offense looking? Is Ritter going to improve things, make things worse? But, I mean, this guy just dropped. If you remember, Kyle Pitts started off kind of that way last year. He had the best rookie season ever for a tight end. And everybody still complained about him. Like, I get it. We're not excited about the beginning, but this is what we live for, the buy low opportunity moment in fantasy football. There's no better time, even though it's painful for our teams when we have guys underperforming. Weeks 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5, 6, but at least weeks 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 are the best time to win a league through the right buying low and selling high. And Kyle Pitts, if he doesn't work out, what are you giving up right here? Christian Kirk? You know, who I like, but like you didn't expect Kirk to be doing what he's doing. Just you're playing with the house's money right now. Getting Kyle Pitts with the house's money is 0 risk at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I got some great receivers already. One other thing before I go, I was thinking about maybe trading Christian Kirk for James Robinson. I know you didn't like Robinson before the season, but how do you feel about that now?
I mean, he's averaging 3.8 yards per carry. Like, everyone's got to calm down a little bit. Like, I understand he's stayed healthy and he's defied the logic. He's scored touchdowns, but he's averaging 3.8 yards per carry. Cam Akers is averaging 2.8 to 3.5 yards per carry since he's come back, you know, including last year, and we're all ripping him to shreds. But no one's ripping J-Rob to shreds because he scored 3 touchdowns and fallen into the end zone. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. It's so high opportunity here for J-Rob owners. You can bank on him, and I'm not saying he can't recover and become the first player ever to be a top 15 running back. He's most certainly not going to be a top 10 running back. There's too many good running backs for him to be a top 10 running back. But could he be the first running back ever to return to top 15 form after an Achilles tear, especially that first year? He could, but he's averaging 3.8 yards per carry. So am I keeping Kirk? Yeah. Am I selling J-Rob high? Absolutely. Would I hold on to him versus selling him low? Of course. because he's scoring touchdowns, and touchdowns are touchdowns. Opportunities are opportunities. They are turning to him near the end zone, which is good for him, and he does have value because of that. But I think it's crazy that we're not comparing J-Rob and Akers right now, both averaging 3.8 yards or, below sub 4 yards per carry. Akers was 2.8 to 3.5-ish, using last year and this year. I don't know what his exact number would be right this second, but Akers isn't looking, good yards per carry. But because if he fell into the end zone twice, people would be like, Akers is back. And so, all right, bro, I got to get to the next call. Appreciate you.
I man, appreciate it.
Later. Tyler Boyd for Pat Freiermuth, trying to turn that into Pitts. You heard everything I said about Kyle Pitts, Jaime. So, yes, I would trade Boyd for Freiermuth and then try and bump Freiermuth into Kyle Pitts. Very smart move. Very, very smart move. Steve with the super chat. Steve, appreciate you dropping the super. Trade Kelsey for Hollywood, Kelsey, and ETN for Dalvin Cook, McLaurin, and D-Hop. Kelsey, Hollywood, and ETN for Dalvin, McLaurin, and D-Hop. I mean, you could go any direction on this trade. It's one of those, Steven, those trades is like, what's the point? In a way, you're getting rid of Kelsey. You're going across position to running back. Kelsey and Cook are very close in value, you could argue. And then McLaurin and Hollywood and ETN and Hopkins is all like I don't know. It kind of depends on what your team need is. But it's even. It's not like one side's getting ripped off, and one side could outperform the other very easily, too. What's up? You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, what's up, Smitty? It's Steven.
What's up, Steven?
I have a question for you. So I'm going to tell you some of my wide receivers. This is a 12-team PPR. So I have A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson, and then I picked up Joshua Palmer on the waivers. And on my bench right now, I have Elijah Moore and Kadarius Toney. So I'm kind of worried about Elijah Moore because of Joe Flacco seems to be having chemistry right now with Garrett Wilson. So I don't know if it's going to change when Zach Wilson comes back.
Yep.
But I didn't know if I should try to during the waiver wire if I should look at because it's kind of thin. But there's somebody like DJ Chark, Dortch. Devin Duvernay. Would you try to pick up any of those guys? And if I had to drop somebody, I was thinking about dropping either maybe Kadarius Toney or something like that.
I'd drop Toney before I drop Elijah Moore. Not that Elijah Moore is startable at this point, but I do like Elijah Moore. With Zach Wilson coming back, we don't know what the and maybe they don't put Zach Wilson in. Who knows? But what the rapport is going to be between Garrett Wilson and Zach and how that looks differently. Elijah Moore is very, very good. He should not be dropped. Similar to Mooney. Mooney and Elijah Moore can be benched until they show up. But I believe you got to keep Elijah Moore, who proved how good he was last year. It's not like he hasn't proven it yet. You know what I'm saying? Toney hasn't proven it. He's got a lot of talent, but he's a head case. He never puts it together. I would definitely go with the route of dropping Toney. That's easy.
Okay. Because the one thing that I'm worried about is because I have Joshua Palmer right now, but I don't know what's going on with Keenan Allen, if he's going to come back. And I don't know, for me, I was looking at, from my wide receiver 3, for me, right now, I think it was between Greg Dortch and probably Devin Duvernay maybe or something like that because it's thin on the 12 for a 12-team league. There's not really that much out there.
Yeah. Yep. I don't mind the moves you're talking. I just don't want you dropping Elijah Moore if you don't have to.
Okay.
All right, man.
Is there one guy that you preferred over the other, or does it matter between those two guys?
I mean, I guess Duvernay. Who are the options? Duvernay, Dortch, and who?
It's Duvernay, Dortch, Sterling Shepard, and DJ Chark. Those are the top guys for wide receiver that's out there.
Yeah, I go with Duvernay. Yeah, the offense is looking good.
All right, yeah, thank you, Smitty.
Right.
I'll look out for that on the waivers tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, appreciate you, man. Later. Yeah, that's Yeah, I mean, Niner by nature, I know what you're referencing. You're referencing how Kyle Shanahan injured his quarterback and ruined Trey Lance's potential career. Could he bounce back? I guess. But if he had these many obstacles in his way because Shanahan couldn't open the door for him and part the seas for him and get him out there, hit that thumb up button on your way in the door. We got about 200 watching, only 100 thumbs up. Shanahan is a bad coach. He's a good offensive coordinator, bad coach. I wish people would stop defending him as a coach. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Smitty, this is G-Money.
What's up, G-Money?
Hey, how's it going? Trying to see if you can help me out here. I'm looking to make a trade. I'm looking to upgrade my running back spot.
Okay.
I got Najee, Etienne, and Pierce as my running backs currently. But I've got a wide selection of receivers. I've got Devontae Adams, Hollywood Brown, Michael Thomas, and Kirk. And so since I've got some of those, I'm looking to maybe move like Michael Thomas and Kirk and then package that with like a Pierce or Etienne to upgrade my running back spot.
So you have Najee, Etienne, Pierce, MT, Kirk, and who are your other wide receivers?
I've got Michael Thomas, Hollywood Brown, and Devontae Adams.
D. Adams, Hollywood. Okay. So I've got, let me know if I'm missing anybody. Your core of your team. You've got Najee, Etienne, Pierce, MT, Kirk, Adams, and Hollywood.
Correct.
Who's your quarterback and tight end?
Rodgers is my quarterback and Goddard's my tight end.
Okay.
So Rodgers obviously hasn't looked hot so far through 2 weeks. I mean, he put up a decent performance last night, but I mean, I'm probably going to have to use waivers to maybe make that work throughout the season.
Okay, so I got that updated here on the screen here. So A-Rod, let me put A-Rod in there. So your question is just mainly what changes do you make?
Yeah, if you think I should make any changes, and then how do I maybe package one of those wide receivers with a running back that I've got to upgrade?
Yeah,
that RB2 spot?
I'll be honest, man. I'm not feeling like right now this team's the best team in the league. Like if I just had, and I'm sure,
definitely not.
Yeah, I'm sure you feel it. So like you got to ask yourself, do you trade Adams? Do you trade Najee for Swift somehow? Do you trade Najee for Kamara because Kamara is not playing or risk of not playing? But I think I don't know. I don't know if he plays week 3. I would imagine he would, but that's a total guess on my part. So, but would I trade Najee for Kamara straight up right now for the odds of shaking this up? Yeah, I would. Would I try and get an Eckler? Certainly. Would I trade MT High, who scored a touchdown and had a great week 1, and you got some potential ability there? Yeah. I try and divide up, if I can, Adams into a wide receiver and a running back, and the running back being somebody at least of the caliber of a Dillon, and then the wide receiver being the caliber of, man, I don't know. Like, so if you go high on the running back side, let's say you get a Kamara, I want you to somehow try and get a Pittman or T. Higgins. Maybe Mike Evans. Maybe you sacrifice. Maybe you still win this week, but you get the long-term value in that. Mike Evans. Someone might be willing to give up Mike Evans cheap. Someone might give up CD Lamb cheap. Someone might give up DK almost for free, and then you could upgrade the running back side of the scale. So whatever your anchor is, whether it's DK or whatever, that allows you to argue your running back be more valuable. So if you trade Adams for DK and somebody should be very good because you went really low on DK because he's extremely undervalued. If you go Dillon, so Adams for Dillon and somebody, Dillon's so undervalued right now, you can add a really high level potential wide receiver, or at least as high as you can go. I don't think a Dillon and like Higgins together would be enough for even Najee or Adams, just to give you a barometer. But it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to get Adams for Eckler and a wide receiver. Isn't the craziest thing in the world. I've seen people do it. I've seen people get a Higgins and Kamara for a Devontae Adams. So like that's kind of what you got to do. You got to hit a home run on this trade, though. You have to. You have to get a Higgins and a Kamara for an Adams.
Some of the offers that have been thrown out to me because I have kind of a deep wide receiver, people are reaching out and they want Michael Thomas and Kirk right now. And someone offered me Montgomery for Kirk straight up. I don't know. but I feel like I need to move Michael Thomas and Kirk right now while their stock is high.
Yeah.
And would it be worth moving maybe Najee Harris and either MT or Kirk to get a Dalvin Cook if that's potentially
I would take a chance.
move I could make?
I would take a chance on a Cook, a CMC, a Henry, a whatever, just to get out of Najee. Najee feels very risky right now. I would do it. A CMC seems like a fun experiment for this team because the team's already got its back against the wall. Why not just, go balls out on it? And I think Najee could get you a CMC and something maybe. You throw in Kirk, maybe you get a DK and a DK and CMC or a Kamara and DK for, and DK goes nuts, and then you use Kirk and if you use Kirk, you could get a better wide receiver than DK, to be honest. I think you probably could. And I like DK buying low. DK could be a savior for this team. Just don't use him as the main piece whatsoever. I just feel like if you somehow get DK on the cheap on top of making one of these moves, if not two of them, you're back, bro. You could easily get this team back with one or two trades. You gotta work someone over pretty good. You gotta almost end a friendship on this one. It's like you gotta have your boy going, why'd I do that trade? I'm not talking to you ever again. You gotta fleece somebody.
Yeah, the Kamara owner has Kamara and Javonte, and he was willing to maybe trade Javonte last week, but now with Kamara being out, he's skeptical to get rid of another running back. So,
well, what if you traded him? What if you took Kamara and Javonte from him, and you gave him Najee, Etienne, and Kirk? I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I could throw that out to him and see what he thinks, because he's hurting for a third wide receiver.
Definitely get one of those RBs though from him through a trade, and then so if you were to trade, if you used Najee to trade for a DK and Kamara, or a CMC and DK, or something like that, you get that extra wide receiver in a almost even in your mind running back swap. Then you have that extra piece. Now all you got to do is take Adams and try and do the same thing, and then boom, you're back, man. It's going to be hard. It's not easy. Be careful when you poke around at a player that you want right away, because it's usually going to give somebody a reaction like, why does he want him? Even if, like I always explain in my trading and psychology videos, two things are going on when you make someone an offer. One, they either believe you are better than them down deep, and when you ask for somebody, they back off and say, what's he know that I don't know? I'm going to look like a fool if I trade him the guy. Why is he inquiring? I know this guy. He's good at fantasy football. If he's asking for somebody, I'm scared about giving the player up. So I'm going to say no, because I don't know. I'm going to say no because I don't know. I'm scared of this guy. That's one. Two, they think they know more than you. Okay, they're cocky and arrogant. That's typically the way it is. Everybody thinks they're better than everybody, right? So they're cocky and arrogant. You go asking about a player, you know what his first reaction is? He's validating how good of a drafter I am. I'm not trading him. You think you're going to trick me out of the guy that I drafted and you didn't get to get? So it's usually the way it works. When you go straight for a player, that's how somebody reacts. So you have to ask them about other players, get them to say, no, and then you go, well, what else? What other running backs do you have? I forget that you've got Kamara, don't. So, and then he says, well, I got Kamara, and then you say something like, well, he's out, and then you get him defending him, and he starts selling him to you. I'm not saying it works every time. I'm just saying these are the best ways to get yourself in the best position to make a trade, getting them to sell you on the player. Make him say the words Kamara. Even if he says Kamara, but I don't want to sell him, he could say that, but then he wasn't going to sell him anyway. But if he says, no, I have Kamara, and you're like, Kamara didn't even play. Isn't he suffering from two injuries now? Rib and, what has he got? A rib and a knee issue or whatever? Ankle and rib? I don't even know. Is it a head injury? You're just confused about why you would want Kamara. And then he's like, well, no, Kamara's fine. So it takes a little bit of finesse.
Definitely does. Well, that's really good advice. And yeah, there is definitely an art to negotiating and getting a trade done.
Yes, sir. All right, bro. Appreciate you calling in.
Thanks,
yep, later. Hey, G Money, is G Money still right? Yeah, okay. I was talking to you so long, I didn't know if I was on the next call. Appreciate all your support, G Money. And keep bringing the thunder. Call in anytime. You're welcome on the show anytime, my man.
Appreciate it, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, later. G Money. Madcap. What's up, Niner by Nature? Hang tight real quick while I answer the super chat, if you don't mind. Jimmy
No
G, Winston, Javonte, Etienne, Chase, Judy, Goddard, MVS, Stevenson, Godwin. Should I try trading Chase? League mate has a lot of wide receivers. Has Debo, Hollywood Brown, Deontay, Michael Thomas. Which two should I trade for? I mean, I don't know that you're going to get Debo and something for Chase. Chase is struggling. I don't think you can sell high on Chase right now. I appreciate your super chat, by the way. The $10 holler from Michael. Michael, appreciate you, buddy. I don't know that you're going to be able to trade Jamar Chase on the high at all. So I would hold him. I think Javonte, you can't sell high. Chase, you can't sell high. Judy, you can't sell right now. Godwin. There's not a lot. I wish I could give you an answer. There's not a lot to trade for here. I don't think you can get even a Michael Thomas and Debo or something like that. Has a lot of wide receivers. I mean, if he's got a lot of wide receivers and you can get a Michael Thomas and Debo for Chase, I guess I would do it just for the extra player and because Debo could be as valuable. I do worry, and I'm about to talk to Niner by Nature about this right now. So listen in, Michael. I'm going to put your super chat over here to remind me to maybe reference this later. But I appreciate you, and I hopefully I can give you some more insight because I didn't really give you a whole lot of ideas there, but you just don't have anybody to trade that's on the high. But Niner by Nature, we're both pretty frustrated with Kyle. Watch the language on here because I know you're probably going to get upset. But I would say
I am.
I would say next thing that's going to make both of us completely irate is when he hurts Debo Samuel.
Oh my gosh, man, bro, let me look. This is my therapy session right here. This is my therapy session. Okay. I can't really go on too many channels and talk my talk because a lot of people don't have call-in shows. I really don't talk to Rumble no more because some stuff that he said actually came true. So I really don't mess with Rumble no more, man. And I really don't talk to a lot of people. I've been blocking and unsubscribing from a lot of channels. So it's so right now I'm kind of playing along with, and I really don't have nobody to really talk to regarding to a therapy section. Now, I need to vent and get this out. I'm not gonna cuss. I'm not gonna mess up your grind, mess up your
go ahead.
Saying what you're doing right now. I would never do that.
Vent.
But Kyle, we already know. We already been said it. We been said this, man. That Kyle Shanahan is a bad head coach, but he's a decent OC. He's a decent OC. But if you go over there and you look in the South and in Miami, the Dolphins right now, you got Mike McDaniels having Tua throwing for 469 yards and 6 touchdowns out here. Are you kidding me? And Kyle Shanahan can't put a playbook together.
Not to mention, I got ripped apart on the Niner shows, bro. On even Raj's show, when I said that they kept the wrong coach. They should have kept Miami Mike, and they're like, Miami Mike over Kyle Shanahan. Are you kidding? Like I've been saying that for a while.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna keep you too long because I know you running the show, and I respect it, bro. I respect your grind. I appreciate you, bro. I love you, bro, and I'm praying for your channel.
Appreciate you.
It's growing every single day, man. But see, there's people out there, and even in this fan base, even in the faithful fan base, I was praying for Trey Lance's downfall, and I prayed for this young man last night, and he actually got his surgery this morning. I sent him a great scripture from the Bible, man, and I'm praying for this kid, and it's killing me that people out here are really praying for this dude's downfall, man. And then they do not care. They do not care, and it's crazy because Kyle Shanahan, this is your franchise quarterback. And you put him in harm's way by running G power, QB power through the B gap.
Yeah.
So he can meet 350 pound deep tackles and 250-pound linebackers head on. Now, I understand you don't read option, but in order for Trey to hit the edge and get into space where he can slide and protect himself, but he going through the middle. You know what I'm saying? And Kyle Shanahan, he don't have no accountability for this shit either. He in there, he all snarky, he's arrogant, he don't place no blame on this. And then on top of that, he have yet to go see Trey Lance in the hospital. I'm wondering how the hell is Mama Lance and Papa Lance going to respond to him? They have some words for that man. They have some words for him, because what head coach run their franchise quarterback into the ground? Even okay, Lamar Jackson is a different breed. We can all agree about that. Lamar Jackson can run that rock. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, Trey Lance is not the type of dude. Yes, he can do a few read options. Yes, he can do a few, you know what I'm saying, maybe a QB power. But if it's within reason, if it's within you managing it as a head coach.
And it's like I was.
If it's third.
Yeah, and it's like I was saying. No, it's fine. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just gonna say it's also you're planning for Plan B, and that's why you ruined Plan A, because you're working so hard on Plan B. You literally threw Plan A to the wind, and you didn't. If you didn't have Plan B, a lot of famous and very successful people, entrepreneurs, oftentimes say that people that smash Plan A never had a Plan B. If you start planning for Plan B, you're playing for second place. You're playing for second place, and here he goes, not supporting Plan A by keeping Plan B on the roster. Jimmy G. Tying up all this money that everybody says, oh, they didn't really matter on Tomlinson. Like, give me a break. Would you rather not have Tomlinson or have Tomlinson right now? Would you rather not have ability to shift people around on the offensive line and everybody acting like you wouldn't have done something with the extra money? It's ridiculous. So here you are planning for Plan A.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you're planning for Plan B.
It's ridiculous, fam. It's ridiculous, fam. And then on top of this, I'm going to let you go with this. Then on top of this what really makes me mad is that the 49ers media and the 49ers and people that call themselves faithful, it's like they are happy. Even inside the locker room, you got guys like Juszczyk,
right,
McGlinchey, and Armstead talking about we are a better team now without Trey Lance. That's just ridiculous. I don't know if you even heard or even seen Last Second Sports by Jesse when he interviewed JT O'Sullivan, and he interviewed him, and somebody gave Jesse a $5 super chat to ask JT who gives a best chance to win this year. JT said, "Hell, you know what? Let me rephrase this. I'm gonna go even further. I'm gonna say that who gives the 49ers the best chance to win a championship?" And he said, Trey Lance gives the 49ers best chance to win a championship this year and the years beyond that. Jimmy G's a good quarterback. He'll give you some wins, but he's not gonna win you a championship.
Right.
And I want the faithfuls.
Yeah, Plan B won't win you a championship.
I'm so mad, bro.
Yeah, Plan B won't win a championship. So why even worry about Plan B? Do you think the Buffalo Bills have a Plan B? They don't have a Plan B. It's Josh Allen. No. It's Josh Allen, or they wait till next year when Josh Allen recovers from injury. Josh Allen gets hurt. The Buffalo Bills aren't expecting to go to the Super Bowl, and maybe the Niners can find a way to get there. But are you going to win with Jimmy G? Maybe people think you can. I don't think so. Right. So here's the other part I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask you this real quick. Am I alone in thinking that Jimmy G was like smiling and smirking when Trey was still injured and on the field? Am I alone in thinking he was callous about that?
I swear on my mom. My mom just passed away in December 13th, 2021. I put on my mom's grave. Man, that dude was out there smiling, man. I'm telling you, this locker room is not behind Trey Lance. It's because it's Kyle Shanahan and his negligence for Trey Lance. You do not spend the money to protect him, regard to the O-line. You do not let go Jimmy G. Let him go. Release him. What franchise out there that keep their predecessor for to back up the successor? I'm so mad right now because Shanahan is like it's almost planned for him to hurt Trey Lance in order for Jimmy G to come in. Because the locker room is talking.
It's almost like everybody was in on like, how do we, when like there's a group of friends that there's one friend that they don't want there, and they're just trying to figure out a way to get rid of him. And then as soon as he got hurt, they all just turned their backs and walked away and said, "Thank God this took care of itself." Like that's how I feel.
Right.
And on top,
oh my God, bro.
I know, isn't that exactly how it feels? And on top of that, the worst part for me is because I know a true diehard fan like you is struggling to be a fan right now because how can you move forward and be happy with the situation if you're being honest with yourself and you're being honest, other people aren't. I don't know how. It's so hard. Like, I don't know how you're a fan right now. It's so hard for me to imagine what you're going through.
Bro, I was in tears, fam. I was in tears yesterday for Trey Lance. I'm thinking, like, man, this young man's career could be ruined.
Yeah.
And then right now, the tears is falling down my face right now because I feel for this young man because, you know what I'm saying, Kyle Shanahan is so messed up. I'm a Niner till I die, but I cannot no longer watch Niner games while Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch is after him. I can't do it because this young man deserves better than that.
Yeah, they did him dirty.
Man, I promise you, I'm praying that Kyle Shanahan or somebody, Jed York, need to build backbone and tell them, like, look, this your last year, or you need to trade Trey Lance to Minnesota and go get Kirk Cousins so you can continually fail. I want you to continually fail so Trey Lance could show you his greatness in Minnesota with Justin Jefferson and a good head coach. That's going to help him out, man. I'm so crazy, man.
A Trey Lance trade would be the best thing for Trey Lance because to be honest with you, I don't mean to be negative, but I don't know how.
No, you good, bro.
I don't know how Trey Lance survives this in San Francisco because if all these roadblocks and obstacles were put in his way, like look at Fields. I said it last night on Raj's show. I'm watching this game where Fields is struggling. Fields is doing bad. But the team's building around him, and Trey, they're not even you didn't even play him. Every rookie quarterback plays now their rookie year. That's the way it goes. That's the way the NFL is nowadays. That's how college football is. It's a different game. You play. You draft a quarterback. You play the quarterback. And Shanahan he struggled to have him play his sophomore year. And now Trey's got 3.5 games to his name since 2020. Like it's such a long road back. I feel really, really bad for him. I think a trade would be his best way into a lineup. I honestly think Jimmy G will get extended or something if you guys even make the playoffs. And if Kyle doesn't make the playoffs with Jimmy G, he better be gone, or I don't know what I would do if I was a Niner fan. That would just be hard to watch.
Jay York don't have the backbone. He don't have the balls to fire Kyle Shanahan because of his name. And I've been tweeting shit. I've been tweeting Jay York all day until he blocked me. I've been tweeting him all day.
Jay York blocked
you. You don't have the backbone. You have the balls. You know what I'm saying? And he blocked me. So I'm like, man, you know what? I'm proud of this because I'm so sick of it. You know what I mean? So man, Smitty, man, I love you, bro. And I appreciate you. I want to go in on the therapy section. I just appreciate this time, man.
Yeah.
But I know you got a show to run. Bro,
hey,
man, thank you again.
I'm glad you got to vent. And
he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you. Sorry to hear about your mom. And, yeah, call in if you need therapy session anytime, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, later. I feel bad for all the Niner fans because they have to sit here and watch this like facade going on right now, and I think anybody that's a true Niner fan isn't feeling good about the situation. All right, Michael. Hopefully, I answered your question here. Michael, did you have a follow-up on this? You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, what's going on? It's Red Boy.
What's up, the Wood?
Redwood, whichever one.
Oh,
whichever
Redwood. Maybe we got a
rolls off
different.
the tongue.
We might have two different Woods. We'll call you the Redwood. Okay, what's up, Redwood?
There's a wide receiver on the waiver wire that I want to pick up.
Okay.
And I'm struggling, like, trying to figure out who I should drop to pick him up. I'm kind of leaning toward, because I have two defenses right now. I've got Pittsburgh and Indianapolis, and Indianapolis is kind of looking like crap, so I was thinking about just dropping them.
So Indianapolis for what wide receiver? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't worry.
For Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
Garrett Wilson.
for sure.
Or like I'm number 6, so like I might not get him. So I was gonna put Jahan Dotson as my second waiver.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson will be hard to grab this week, but there's a couple other. Look at Jordan Mason, because TDP's out for a couple weeks minimum. So Jordan Mason's now the backup to Jeff Wilson. He's good. Pacheco is still a great pickup if people dropped him. I would say wide receiver wise, I've got a list over here on the wall here.
I mean, I have good receivers. I just wanted to pick one up just in case like one of my guys gets hurt or something. Because right now I got. No, go ahead.
You know what I predict to happen is, and I know everybody hates Mooney right now, but I think Mooney's going to get cut in a significant amount of leagues. And I think that
maybe.
people that
one of my league mates has him.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people will drop him, and then if people that wait, they have a good opportunity to pick him up off waivers. So that's something I would do. I know a lot of people think Mooney's not going to come back, but I mean, how can you expect much out of a wide receiver like Mooney when your quarterback throws for 70 yards, which is a problem. It's definitely a problem. Right. But it's something that, like, I think gets remedied to the point where Mooney starts having success again. So I love Darnell Mooney if he's cut and goes on the waiver wire. He becomes like one of the top 3 or 4 ads for me if he hits waivers. If you throw him into the pool.
Yeah, no, he's talented for sure.
All right, the Wood. You got anything else, Redwood?
Just a point really quick about, like, I heard you guys talking earlier about Shanahan and the Trey Lance situation and all that. I feel like, I think he could have been a good QB, because like I was looking at look at Tua right now. Like, he looked like trash for like his first 2 years, and they kind of built around him, and now he looks great.
Yeah, I mean, but he also has like weapons. Like I know Trey does too, but Trey has Shanahan in his way, man. I don't think he wants. I don't think he wants Trey in there at all. I don't think Shanahan wanted to draft Trey Lance. What we can figure is Mac Jones was his only pick and the guy he wanted 1,000%. But what happened was, once Mac Jones kind of messed up on his pro day and overthrew that one touchdown catch or whatever, that there was so much pressure. You can't trade up to number 3 to take Mac Jones. He would have been there if you let him fall. So the pressure to then draft Trey became extremely high, and I don't think Shanahan ever wanted him. So Shanahan's been completely like trying to sabotage this situation, and you can just tell the vibe is no problem. Niner by nature. I think Niner by nature will agree with this one, or maybe he hasn't put too much thought into this part yet. But I don't think I think Shanahan wanted Mac Jones, and he completely, even if it was unconsciously sabotaged or subconsciously, unconsciously, he's unconscious as well, but subconsciously sabotaged this situation. I think he truly did. There's too much it's like Trey Lance. They say things like, "Oh, we feel bad for the guy," and then they move on. It's like I get the vibe of, like I said, 4 or 5 friends standing around in a circle, and the extra the fifth wheel standing right there, and everybody's like, "How do we get rid of this person? How do we get rid?" And then they get hurt, and they're like, "Thank God." And they all 4 or 5 just walk away really fast. They don't help him. They don't feel like they're there for him. They don't try and make them, he's family. Okay, we're going to pick him up and we're going to take him with us. No, they literally turn their backs. This is how it feels. They turned their backs and they walked away from Trey. They didn't pick him up and take him. They literally left him where he was. And Jimmy G comes out onto the field and has got this grimace that he shouldn't have while his player, his starter, his quarterback now, is being wheeled off the field and being put on the cart, and he's got this grin like, oh yeah, it's time to go, and everybody's like, all right, it's Jimmy time. Jimmy's not a great quarterback. He's
not the answer. He's not the long-term answer for sure.
No, he's not. Can he manage this team pretty well? Sure. Was it a good play on paper to keep him? On paper, but the problem is you don't want this as your solution long term. Therefore, who cares about this little on paper play that might salvage your season, and you maybe get a wild card spot, and then you lose in the first or second round because Jimmy G is a turnover machine in the playoffs. Like, is that what you wanted?
Yeah,
Was all this worth getting a couple playoff wins or one playoff win and not getting a Super Bowl, or building your team so that you could come back and win a Super Bowl? Even if you didn't win this year, you could maybe win next year or the next year. Now you have Trey Lance no further along than he was. He's not far along at all. He's back to where he was from square one. Shanahan destroyed him.
Yeah.
And I have no faith at all that Trey can rise up in San Francisco. I hope to God they trade him.
And if anything, like if he wasn't ready, they should have they kept Jimmy anyway, so they could have just sat him on the bench and let him develop some more or something,
All right, Redwood, I gotta jump. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Later.
I'll talk to you later.
Yep. Call in anytime. Okay, phone lines are going, turning them off. We're gonna head out. Appreciate everybody watching right now. I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. That is what you're watching right now, the 7 p.m. Eastern show every Monday through Friday. And Dawson Knox grabbing a ball. First down, Dawson. First down, Dawson. My elbow cracking. Ow. I'm creaking. Jocelyn, I'm going to answer that. Jocelyn, call back real quick. I'm going to answer Jocelyn's call real quick, and then I'm out of here. Jocelyn, dial in real quick again. I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'm also live whenever news breaks, just like I did this morning when Mike Evans was suspended for one game. I went live. That's how we do it. That's how we roll. Live whenever news breaks. Live 7 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and also live in the evenings when we do all kinds of stuff. Oh, look at that beautiful throw. First and 10. Jocelyn, call in one more time, buddy boy. I'll get you up. Jimmy G throws hospital passes. Yeah, he does. Jocelyn, I got like two minutes. What can I do for you, my man?
Hey, Smitty, man, what's going on?
What's up?
Good. All right, so I was offered this trade, and I just wanted to see what you thought about it. So I would be getting Alvin Kamara, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Davis Mills, and I would be giving up Najee Harris, Rashad Bateman, and Justin Fields. Do you think I should make that trade?
Are you using this quarterback on the regular or no?
No. As of right now, my starting quarterback is Russell Wilson.
Okay.
And thankfully, like in that league, I'm already 2-0, even though he's played bad so far the first 2 weeks.
Okay, so this is tough for me because I do want you to trade Najee if possible. The problem is we still have to factor in. There's a good question. Vamp had a good question. Is this redraft?
Yes, it is redraft. Yes.
We have to factor in that Kamara still has risk, and I think that if you factor in Kamara still having risk, it's still tough to give away Bateman. I think Bateman's playing well enough right now. He just vaulted up in value that it's a hard thing to throw in. Would I do Najee straight up for Kamara? At this point, I probably would take Kamara straight up over Najee because I feel like Najee's risk feels greater than Kamara's risk. It's definitely risk. There's risk on both sides. There's definitely risk on both sides, but I don't like giving up Bateman. I feel like that tips the scale too heavily.
Right. Yeah, because it's still on the table. I'm yet to do it because I still got to hear back from the other owner, but it's still kind of like on the table because I'm scared of Najee's foot also, I mean, like he runs hard, and, I think the foot is going to be a problem for him the whole season, to be honest.
Hey, Gage, I'm sorry I didn't answer your super. I'll go find it real quick. Yeah, have them pull the wide receivers, and then I'd do it. But I think you definitely are making a mistake getting rid of Bateman.
Okay, but I mean, my other two wide receivers are Gabriel Davis and Cortland Sutton. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the Broncos offense is going to pick it up like sooner or later. And I think Gabe Davis, like when he's playing, I think he's like a top 12 wideout man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I guess I just would rather you get a different running back then. Can you go after like a Swift or a potential CMC and at least take a gamble that's a little bit better gamble to take? Because Kamara still has that off the field risk.
Well, here's the thing though. My other two running backs are Swift and Javonte. I have Swift and Javonte already.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in the chat saying keep Bateman, no one Bateman. I mean, it's pretty consensus, and I agree. I feel like Bateman's too much for the swap because they're equal in risk. I don't mind going Kamara or Najee. I could go either way. But I feel like just throwing in Bateman's. I feel like you could use Bateman for something else. You could use Bateman to get another upgrade or another whatever. So go after CMC. Like not that I love CMC a whole bunch more than Najee. If Najee's healthy, I love Najee. But the offensive line, Najee's foot. If it's not his foot, he injured something else. Now you got that injury. If they're gonna lie about whether he re-injured his Liz Frank or not, I think you could do a different deal.
Right. Okay. So do the trade, but take out Bateman.
Yeah. Again, I'm not trading Bateman in this deal.
Okay.
I'm not giving up one of those other wide receivers either. I'm not throwing Gabe Davis in or anything. Like it's. I mean, look, Kamara's out right now. Najee isn't, so I would use that.
Okay. All right.
But trust your gut. Trust your gut. I mean, I wouldn't make you take a lap on it. I'll tell you that. But I wouldn't do it. That's my advice.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
All right, take care.
Yep. Gage, you still here, Gage? I'm sorry I made you wait on this one, buddy. I don't mean to discourage you from super chatting again because I made you wait. I apologize. Myers says trade Josh Allen, Kamara for Swift, Javonte Carr. Woo! Josh Allen and Kamara for Swift, Javonte Carr. I take Swift, Javonte Carr. That's a crazy. I can't believe that was sitting on my screen so long and I didn't respond to that. That's such a good question. I'm sorry, Gage. I mean, look, Swift over Kamara for me. I mean, Allen over Carr, but is it worth Javonte? Yeah, it's worth Javonte. I love Josh Allen, but give me Carr if I've got a free Javonte Williams. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's a great trade, Gage. Are you still here? Dawson Knox almost getting in the end zone. Gosh dang it. Swift, Javonte, Carr, easy. Yep, Vamp. The Wood 12 team Fields and Mills killed me. Pick up Malik, but I have 4 bench spots. B. Cooks, Pierce, Mooney, Malik. Pick up Malik, but I have only 4 bench spots. So you got to cut one of these guys. Or what are we saying here? I picked up Malik, but I only have 4 bench spots. Kirkwood, can you clarify this real quick before I leave? Like, what is the question here? Thank you, Gage. Appreciate you, bro. And if you get that trade, let us know so we can celebrate with you. That's a good trade. I hate getting rid of Josh Allen, bro, but God, that's a good trade. That's a really good trade. Before I leave, I want to help Kirkwood out. Kirkwood, please clarify what the question is here for me. This whole trade is about the dude snagging Bateman. The rest is distraction. That's true. That's facts. That's facts. Are you asking who to cut? QB week. I mean, Fields and Mills killed me. I picked up Malik Willis, but what's like? What can I help you with on this question specifically? I would like to help you before I leave. I love Malik Willis being stashed. Looked at Garrett Wilson. Okay, so you're maybe having to drop somebody for Garrett Wilson. If you have to cut somebody, oh my God. If you have to cut somebody, I suppose Mooney. But this is like the only time I want to tell somebody to cut Mooney because I don't want you cutting Brandon Cooks. I don't want you cutting Damian Pierce. I don't want you cutting Malik Willis. If you've got to pick up Garrett Wilson, you'd probably drop Mooney because he's a wide receiver. So you're swapping one wide receiver out for the other. Was that Gainwell? Oh God. Okay, we got to bounce out. Jefferson and Brown battling it out. Let's go. Josh Allen on the scramble. Touchdown Diggs. Was that maybe going to Dawson Knox? Diggs may have jumped in front of it. I don't know if that was designed. But all I know is Dawson Knox was standing right behind Diggs, and Diggs said, "Hold my beer. I'm going to go get it." I appreciate you, Kirkwood. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Diggs TD from Josh Allen. 17-7, assuming the extra point is kicked effectively and successfully. On to the other game. Let's go. Good luck, everybody. I'll probably see you maybe tonight for a little Q&A. But we'll be dropping the waiver wire video about 11 a.m.-ish Eastern for a premiere. So jump into the waiver wire show at 11 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the support. Hit the thumb up on your way out the door. And we're almost at 14,200 subscribers. So I can't thank you enough. Appreciate you all. Keep the faith. Make good moves. And stay positive. Later.